Namaste, dear ones. Today I am representing a Divine Feminine Collective, and we are talking about a revolution. And this is a revolution of the Divine Feminine, here to rise within all beings. I've been talking about this for over 7 years, and I've really reached a place where I believe that we need to elevate this conversation from a place of who we are instead of begging for incremental rights from external power structures that are illusory. So, first of all, I want to say namaste. And if you're here live, please put something in the chat. Today, I'm going to talk about the Equal Rights Amendment, which is now the law of the land, which guarantees constitutional gender equality for all citizens. So this has a huge potential to for us to work together as we the people to bring equality for all, which is really the foundation of the feminist movement. I'm going to talk a little bit about the true power of the feminine and really getting into our feminine energy and why it's so important for women to lead now more than ever. And I'm going to go a little bit off script. I'm going to go a little bit crazy, maybe, who knows? Because women are not necessarily linear, and that's a good thing. Okay, so thank you for checking in. And let's just get started. All right, so the Equal Rights Amendment, please let me know if you are aware of the Equal Rights Amendment. First of all, is a document that guarantees gender equality for women under the US Constitution. And that was ratified in January of 2020. This was literally a dream of our founding mother, Abigail Adams, who so eloquently stated that women deserve to be recognized as equals. So in her time, in 1776, she wrote a bold letter to her husband, John Adams, who was about ready to sign the Constitution, one of the men in our country that was really had more of a leadership style of equality, which is fantastic. But she wrote a bold letter to John, who was helping to draft the Constitution at the time. And it's now a famous letter called Remember the Ladies. And she urged our founding fathers, basically as a mother of our country, the wife of John Adams, the mother of John Quincy Adams, to remember the ladies. She urged our founding fathers of our new nation to consider the rights of women when they created the laws of the land. She warned that if a new government continued to give men absolute power over women, it would simply recreate the same tyranny that we suffered in England. With remarkable courage and foresight, she wrote that women would not consider themselves bound by laws in which they had no voice or representation and would form a rebellion against their government. At the time when women were considered the property of men, we had no political rights, we had no vote, no legal protections. So basically, at the time, we're the property of men, and our children were also the property of men. So we had very few options in terms of our profession. We had very few options in terms of leaving violent situations or being beaten up by men, whether they be our brothers, our husbands, our fathers. So I like to think of 1776 to when we started getting property rights and really where we are now, the Dark Ages. So Abigail Adams called for something revolutionary: justice, respect, and protection for women within our democracy. So in 1776, these words were prophetic because she said that if given the opportunity, men could become tyrants. And that's actually what happened. We were left out of the Constitution. And the text of the Constitution says all men are created equal. Her words planted an early seed for the truth that we continue today. A truly free nation must include the voices, the rights, and leadership of women in all areas. So today, we embody the vision of Abigail Adams and the women at the time who did not even dare to dream, didn't dare to speak in public. And certainly they didn't have a YouTube station. So in January of 2020, so 250 years later, we ratify the Equal Rights Amendment, which basically says this: equality of rights under the law shall not be denied by the United States or any other state on account of sex or gender. So from a gender standpoint, that means that all US citizens are equal, and the ERA ratified in 2020. So this is the essence of feminism. This is the essence of the Equal Rights Amendment, just basically saying basic civil rights under the law for women is the law. It is the law of the land. It was ratified by 38 states in January of 2020. Okay, so that means all genders. Okay, that means men, women, and people that are citizens that do not are not gender conforming. This is absolutely revolutionary. It's absolutely monumental. Since then, all three branches of our government have fought against publishing the Equal Rights Amendment. And in 2023, the US Senate voted against a bill that would basically take care of some administrative details. Okay, so what we do now is we just own this. We own equality. We have been under an illusion. We have been under having a kind of a bad dream, having some bad marketing for women for a long time. And so we're breaking the illusion. We're breaking the illusion of external control. And I'm presenting something new. So we're going to this is powerful. This is powerful. If we can work together, we have the power in the United States of America to uplift gender equality as our nation's foundational principle, or equality as our nation's foundational principle, and reverberate out for the entire world. That's powerful. It's powerful. We can help our sisters in Korea who came up with K-pop Demon Hunter, which is amazing. And I recommend that as a practice to listen to Golden on repeat. A practice that I recommend. I've been doing it myself. I'll be doing that today. It helps us to get out of the samsara or the illusion. And the other movement that I find extremely badass is the Iranian protesters. They have a movement called Women, Life, and Freedom. They have realized that women have something to do with freedom and life. And that's absolutely true. So, and the other thing that I think is super, super important with our movement, our empowered movement, which I like to call 5D feminism or Yoginī feminism, yoga feminism, is that we've also been under the illusion that men are not, do not support us, or there's some sort of toxic masculinity going on. This is also an illusion, the illusion that women are not equal, and the illusion that we are separate from men, because literally every other species, they work together to support each other. That's just basic common sense. So we're like literally arguing over basic common sense, okay? And a lot of our sisters and a lot of feminists today are arguing over some sort of files, okay? So this is harsh. It's harsh, but it's important to just point this out. This sort of thing has been going on for eons. Humanity has business enterprise, religions, governments have collaborated to support and to perpetuate violence against women. It's not only normalized, but it is entertainment, and it has been for a very, very long time. So if you want to dig into this from a history standpoint, which is fun, but and it also helps break the illusion. The Revolutionary War, there was a place in New York City called the Holy Ground, and that's where the English soldiers were able to be serviced. And it was on land owned by the Anglican Church, and there were some businesses that allowed some working girls to come in and provide special services for the English soldiers. Okay, so this is not new. Okay, and we're getting very, very upset I'm just going to go into kind of a yoga standpoint now. So we're going to actually get out of this. We're going to get out of the whole sort of illusion. We're going to flip into a whole new world, right? Okay, empowered. Okay, what does an empowered movement look like? Okay, subjugating women, it's stupid. We know we're equal. This is our birthright. So to continue to feed the illusion, or to feed from like a K-pop demon hunter standpoint, to continue to fight against the dark forces is a waste of our precious energy. It literally keeps us out of our heart, keeps us out of our soul. Okay, so we live in a world where we don't use the word toxic masculine. We use the phrase toxic machismo. So toxic machismo has taken over. When we turn on TV or we're scrolling through our phone, we can find all kinds of things we can react to. And it can make us extremely disempowered. And that sucks. So we need to stop that. We're here to break the illusion of separation. We're here to break the illusion of fear and any sort of external control. Okay, so maybe the old model, the old toxic machismo model, would be something like this. It would be hustle. Okay, whatever you do, don't relax. Try to control the situation and compete. Okay, now the divine feminine is different. If we really get into our feminine energy, which is in everyone, it doesn't matter what your gender is. We're talking about gender equality here. It's in everyone. It's in all of us. And that would be relax, let go, trust, and surrender. We're going to need to break some eggs to make a cake. And there is a tremendous amount of suffering on the planet. There's a tremendous amount of suffering that women have endured. We're not denying that. But it's super important to, within ourselves, from the inside out, that's where the revolution is. So when we see the illusion, how do we react? And we can say, what in me is reacting to what's going on the outside? What's keeping me from my peace? Okay, so it's super important, I think, to set boundaries. We don't need to deal with toxic machismo anymore. I don't have to really deal with that. I live in a state that provides me constitutional equality under our state's constitution. I live in like the Netherlands of the United States. And I don't hang out with toxic machismo. I just don't, because that's not fun. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we do this? Well, I recommend a daily practice, a yoga. That feminism literally should become yoga, because we have a lot of energy. So we have energy to fight against. That's really the feminists before us that have come before us. Okay, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Stanton, Lucretia Mott, Abigail Adams, Gloria Steinem, Shirley Chisholm. All of those women have literally given their lives, and women are currently giving their lives, and feminists are giving their lives for the hope of the empowerment of women, freedom, and equality. They're giving their lives for that. Nassar Mohammadi is one of the greatest feminists, is now incarcerated. She won a Nobel Peace Prize in 2023. They don't let her speak. They shut her down. Okay, so who are going to be the ones that give rise to the divine feminine? We are. Who's the Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion? You are. Okay, this revolution comes from the inside out, and it absolutely starts by creating peace within. Okay, so in yoga traditions, we have something called the wisdom goddesses, and this is how I've been able to sort of deprogram myself and the way we deprogram at Shakti Tribe. These divine beings, we could say they're energy. It's all energy. Okay, you can take the energy of misogyny and you can alchemize that. You can change that into love. Okay, we can shift that into love, and that's how women will lead, with love. Okay, and with divine masculine. Okay, so in short, our purpose is to acknowledge that our future literally depends upon the spiritual awakening of women, girls, the divine feminine and the divine masculine cooperating, and that energy is in all of us. We affirm that humanity is here to lead with compassion, wisdom, and most of all, love into a bright future, a more beautiful world based in peace. Well, how are we going to do that? It starts from the inside out. Peace starts from the inside. So today, instead of explaining and talking about history, which is absolutely fascinating, is better than a reality TV show of feminism, it's absolutely fascinating. And if you want to dig into that, there's a great YouTube station called Breaking the Patriarchy. When we get triggered, when we get mad, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to say, what inside of me is reacting to this? Okay. And to feel it, to heal it, and to literally move out of that place, knowing that has nothing to do with who you are. None of the way we've been treated has nothing to do with who we are as women. So today I have drafted a letter with some of my colleagues here at Shakti Tribe. And really, it's about seeing ourselves as divine beings, okay? So who gave birth to every human being on planet Earth? Women. Okay. Where do we live? Mother Earth, women, okay? So it's important to be grateful for that. It's important to be grateful for all that we've been given. We're so fortunate to not live in Iran, okay? Because we wouldn't be able to even have a Women's Day like this in Iran, okay? And sending blessings to them and all of our human family and all of the animal creatures and all of our allies, okay? We're one family. We have not been informed as to who we really are. And that's basically love. We're one family. This is non-dual yoga feminism, okay? It's just something I'm giving birth to here. And we're giving birth to here. We're having a rally up in, not a rally, but a experience. We're going to be dancing. Yes, K-pop Demon Hunter is going to be on the playlist, okay? So I'm going to teach you a practice. It's a yoga practice. And the point is I think we're all feeling a lot of PTSD, worldwide. We got some crazy toxic machismo acting up. They're causing all kinds of mayhem, okay? And this is just going to get worse, okay? It's going to get worse. And it's important how we react to it or don't react to it. Okay, so really awesome practice. This is a great yoga practice. You just breathe into your heart. And I like to put my hands in prayer position and breathe into my heart. Imagine a light coming down from whatever you feel is divine. Our divine energy is not something that will be dictated to us. This is something that is already inside of us. It's not something we need to beg for. It's not outside of us. Again, external controls, that's illusion. So breathing into your heart, imagining a channel of light coming from what you consider a divine source, and taking some deep breaths. Breathing in the love, breathing in the joy that you really are, and breathing out any sort of toxic external illusion that you may have come across in the past, however long you've been alive. Okay, we've been living in an illusion. Okay, The Matrix is a documentary. It's a training video. Harry Potter is a training video. So breathe into your heart, and I'm going to do my best to express the divine feminine. So we could think of her as Mary Magdalene. We could think of her as Mother Mary. We could think of her as Kali Ma or Lakshmi or Saraswati. And she's talking to you like like you're a child. You're a child of the goddess. Okay, the queendom of the goddess is within you. Okay, we were also written out of the Bible and a bunch of other religious texts. We were literally left out, which is one of the greatest mechanisms of misogyny. So here we go. Please breathe into your heart. And I decided I'd do this instead of talking about phenomenon. Come closer to me, beloved one. Breathe into your heart. Rest your heart against mine and listen. For I have been whispering to you since before you had a name, before you came to earth. I am your mother, the creatrix, the lover, the wise woman, and the queen, the creative pulse of beauty that holds the worlds together, also known as Shakti. I reign only through love. Fierce, receptive, bold, wholly feminine. Nothing in me is borrowed from the masculine. I am the fullness of the feminine in all of her faces, soft and wild, tender and unyielding, nurturing and sovereign, in mind, body, and spirit. You have been programmed away from who you really are by dark forces, trapped in the ego, illusions of separation and lack. This is not who you are. I'm here to help you remember who you really are, something you have forgotten. The truth is that nothing outside of you will ever give you an authentic sense of self. The truth is that nothing outside of you will ever give you an authentic sense of self. You are meant to be the mistress or the master of your own life. Your full sovereignty is not something you must earn. It is your birthright. When you stand in your true self, fully, unapologetically, you stand as the embodiment of the divine feminine, deeply needed in this world. Breathe into that. Even when you forget, even when you doubt, I am there, gently urging you forward. So you might think of this as beyond your five senses, your intuition, your clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. These are feminine superpowers that we all have. Wisdom. You're a divine being, here to bring about a shift towards compassion, wisdom, and most of all, love, into a beautiful new world based in peace. To do this, you must remember who you are beyond the five senses. You are the light of the Divine Mother. This requires that you practice relaxing your body, letting go of old stories of separation, trusting yourself, and surrendering to what you feel inside to be divined through your direct experience. My beloved child, you are not separate from me. Everything I hold, you hold. Everything I am, you are becoming. Trust the pull of your desires. Trust the strength of your mind, body, spirit sovereignty. Trust the evolution that is already unfolding within you and in the world. Come home to yourself, and you come home to the divine feminine as you create your divine self. You came here to grow, to live, to desire, to feel, and to transform. You came here to remember your own true power, your voice of truth, and in the process inspire others to own their authentic power. I am with you in every step of that remembering. With endless love, your mother, aka the divine feminine. Okay, so that is the reality, that is the truth of who we are. We are divine beings. Okay. Women are here to lead with compassion, wisdom, and most of all, love. We all are. but we're talking about women today because today's International Women's Day. Okay, we are leading. The feminine energy is leading along with the masculine energy. We're non-dual. The masculine and feminine are two sides to one coin. You could look up Shiva and Shakti. We're here to lead with compassion, wisdom, and most of all, love into a new world based in peace. How do you visualize this beautiful new world? Focus on that. Where you put your focus, where you put your intention is going to determine everything right now, more than ever. Okay? We can focus on the darkness or the demons, or we can turn away and create a whole new game, create a whole new world. All the power is in us. The queendom of the goddess is within you. Remember that. Go outside, take deep breaths. We recommend a daily practice, whatever that may be. And we will continue to give rise to the divine feminine until our last breath. That's our promise. Now is the time. Now is our time to rise. Now go turn on that Golden. That's freaking amazing. I love that song. And that was absolutely born out of the feminine Korean movement, the 4B movement. Those ladies are hardcore. The feminists in Korea are hardcore, and the ones in Iran are hardcore. The protesters they're hardcore. And we can do it too. It's important for us to use our voices. Okay? Now is the time. We got this. Together, we got this. We're creating community. We're breaking the illusion of separation. We are one. We are one family. We're here to bring about a change, and we're very fortunate to be on the earth at this time. Thank you for listening and sending all of our love. Namaste.